If I had stayed here, I mean, it was fine. I was getting paid well. Volume was not really a problem, but I was sitting with my notes because I was spending so much time, very complex patients, and then I was spending a lot of time clicking and things that other people could have done. I was sitting and like the scut work was just too much. The rules, every day there was a rule bugging, and I was like, I will get sick if I continue like this.
Welcome to DPC Life, the podcast where independent doctors share real stories, bold ideas, and the freedom of doing medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Ann Gonzalez, and together we'll explore the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Today, my guest is Dr. Maheswari Raja of Dallas, Texas, and Anchor Primary Care. She is a family medicine physician, also obesity medicine certified and menopause care certified. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining and sharing your experiences and also what you're struggling with right now as you start your practice. First, tell us about yourself and how you found DPC.
I am a family physician. I have been in practice for 18 years now, so long time. And I'm also a wife and a mother. My children are grown. And I felt like all through my career, I have made decisions about my job depending on the family. And like my dream when I was a resident, I just thought, oh, I'm going to open my own practice. That's how I can get what I want. I want to work only these many days and I'll do it with a partner and I will go into this community and I will just grow old along with the patients. Well, that's not how it worked out. The last job that I left, I think it was my 7th out of residency. So, life changed. We moved states. I trained in Michigan, and so I moved to Texas. And then I was like, okay, I don't have any money. I have loans. Let me go ahead and work whatever I get. And urgent care was what I did. I do enjoy urgent care. So I did that. Then from urgent care, I was like, I had a second child. I was like, okay, these hours are not amenable. I've already had one child with residency. It was hard, so I don't want to do that to another child. And so I moved on to part-time work. And I found out that I'm not a very good stay-at-home mom. That did not work for me. So after a couple of years of that, then I was like, okay, let me go back to something that's more family-friendly. And I was actually working as a faculty community medicine department at University of North Texas. So I did the academic stuff. And then after that, I was like, after 2 or 3 years, I was doing long clinic hours, but only a few days a week. And I'm like, my time off, I'm not really doing anything. I'm sitting at home because the rest of the family can't travel with me. They're in school. So when I got an 8 to 5 opportunity, I was like, okay, maybe this will be good for me. And so it was employed. Then I moved to another job where the clinic shut down. And then the last one that I had, the one that I just left, I did stay for more than 8 years. And it was good. This story is very common. I hear your podcast where we were bought out by a corporate. Things kept shifting. And I was like, okay, this is high time. So I've been thinking about DPC for at least 5 or 6 years. I have moved in the direction of like, I'm going to self-fund this. So let me put aside some money for it. Let me get my children all situated. And so it has taken some time to get there. But I know that after doing all these different types of practices, that is what I envision myself doing into retirement.
Fantastic. You finally got there.
In a roundabout way, but I did.
So was there something in particular that flipped the switch and you're like, yep, no, I got to do it?
I was feeling very misaligned, about how I wanted to spend time with my patients. And it was the metrics that they were pushing. I like to work with the patients and let them say their piece and guide them and work with them over time. It was a managed care kind of situation. So I was like, I don't want to follow these metrics and I want to be able to let the patient do what they want to do and just guide them gently. So I was feeling very misaligned as far as like the values and the respect and all that. And so that was my biggest draw. Like I said, I've been planning my exit for at least a year and a half. I was like, if I had stayed here, I mean, it was fine. I was getting paid well. Volume was not really a problem, but I was spending so much time, very complex patients, and spending a lot of time clicking and things that other people could have done. The scut work was just too much. The rules,
Yeah.
every day there was a rule about it, and I was like,
Mhm.
I will get sick if I continue like this.
Yeah.
I was able to make the leap.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
And did you open already?
No, I let go of my job May 1st. And where are we? May 22nd? Yes. I have an urgent care job that I am doing
Uh-huh.
twice a week. I'm doing that because I don't want to be so stressed about funding the practice. And I have a space, I have a name, and I have the company, and I have an attorney. And so I have all of these things, but actual opening is probably going to be end of July, beginning of August. I still don't have a proper website. We're working on that. And social media, I'm like trying a few things, just saying like what will sit. And I do have some travel planned. So I'm going to do that and then come back and start.
Yeah. So some decompression time. That's
Yes,
perfect.
yes. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes I do struggle with that a bit. I'm like, am I just taking it too relaxed here? Is just something I think about.
I think that coming out of regular fee for service, not just you, but a lot of people feel like they do need some time to recover,
Mm-hmm.
truly,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, take the time, right? If you can, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I maybe took a week off, like May 1st and May 12th. I started at urgent care. It is only 2 days a week, but it is 2 long days, right?
Well, this is so exciting. I know you're ready to get started. So, what kinds of things, if at the end of our session, if you had a plan of a few things, what would make this a successful 30, 40 minutes for you?
Okay. So I was thinking about it. I think the salesiness of my social media posts, even I do them and then I'm like, what will they think? Or am I posting too often? Or is every post saying, come see me? Those are things that so unusual, right? I was posting on social media before, not in a professional sense on my personal page, and it was okay doing my home stuff or my cooking, I was happy to show that. But this being a more like call to action piece, that is a bit cringy for me. I know I need to do it, so I need to overcome that. So that's one thing. Yeah, I think the marketing and like selling portion is what I struggle with the most.
That's a super common thing for people coming out of fee for service because we've never had to. Someone else took care of it. We just showed up, went to work, saw the patients. So it is a normal feeling. And that is the mind chatter. Like, has anyone told you that you're posting too much or that they don't like your posts?
No
Yeah.
one has said anything.
So we tell ourselves these things, right? But no one's told us that. And truly, there are so many people on social media. And when you put something out on Facebook or Instagram, probably about 2 or 3% of your followers will see that one post. So, not too many people generally. I mean, most of us DPC doctors getting started don't have a million followers.
No.
Right? So, not a ton of people seeing it. The other thing people get kind of hung up on is because they're posting a lot of times on their personal pages, it feels cringy to you and you worry about what people are going to say. And a lot of times people on your personal pages are your family and friends, right?
Right.
So what you've got in your head when you're posting it is kind of like, what are my family and friends going to think? And what are they going to say? Why did you give up this good job and go open your own practice? So that's one thing. Your family and your friends, some may really understand what you're doing, and a lot of them, though, they won't. And they won't see what you're trying to create. They don't see the vision that you have. They don't understand. And so when you're posting about your practice and about what you're trying to create, you just have to keep thinking you're not posting for them, you're posting for your potential patients. And once you start thinking about, okay, I'm not posting for them and they won't understand. Some of them will, but some of them just don't. And that's okay. I mean, it's not your job to convince them either. They're going to think what they're going to think, no matter what you say, right? So, posting on social media and just talking about yourself in general, you may feel like it's salesy, but really it's service because you are providing a service that
some patients may never have otherwise. They would never have this great experience that they would get with you. So, do you know who your ideal patient is, who you're talking to?
So I have thought about this question also a lot. I'm the typical family physician. I like my geriatric patients. Enjoy my time with them. I like children also. And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was thinking, who is the ideal patient versus my favorite patient? I think they're two different people.
Okay, yeah.
My favorite patients are probably my older patients that I was seeing and my pediatric patients. Those, I enjoy them. But I think my ideal patient is going to be people like me. Midlife woman, mother, professional, busy, overwhelmed. They want to keep up with their mental clarity and their weight and their career options and have their families. They want to do it all, but sometimes they get overwhelmed. And when there's the inevitable midlife stuff that happens, then they struggle. It may be weight, it may be perimenopause, it may be menopause, it might be anxiety, depression, other metabolic diseases that start to creep up in that age group. I feel like genetics start catching up with us by that time. And so I think that is my ideal population. I think that is the person who needs me the most. I like helping them. I love empowering and seeing what they can do and seeing how resilient women are to begin with. Sometimes their own worth and their resilience has to be pointed out. So I love doing that. But I also like the youngsters and the old people because I can laugh a lot with them.
Who do you want to come see you?
I think I want me to see me. So I want the middle-aged, late 30s, 40s onwards, women who need this because they are the ones who are not getting enough time and attention and have a ton of questions and so much misinformation, and they get frustrated when things don't happen the way that they thought it would, and to actually hold their hand through it. I think I want to see me.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. So that's great that you've figured out who you want to see, because a lot of people have a hard time narrowing down because we like all of it. When you do any kind of messaging, your social media, your emailing, any kind of outreach, how are you specifically talking to your ideal patient? What are you saying to them?
I haven't done a ton of talking to one person just yet. I'm just starting with social media, so it was creating the public pages, and it's kind of hard when you've been a private person to put it for everyone to see. So I've just started with what is direct primary care? Why do I want to do direct primary care? Why should the patient do direct primary care? I posted something about weight management just yesterday where it's not one facet of it. It's not let me call this online service and get a prescription and I'm going to be all set. So I'm starting, but I haven't done a whole lot just yet.
Well, you've already named a lot of them. The pain points that your ideal patient deals with, right? Could start with, talking about those. What kinds of things would you say?
The one thing that I struggled a lot with was thinking about, there's someone waiting in the next room while I'm talking to this patient, but this patient needs a lot more of my time. I did my best, and I would pay the price later in the day. I would be running behind, and then at the end of the day, I would do my notes and things late into the evening. I never compromised on when a patient needed me. So I was trying to do almost DPC even before in my practice. You're looking on on the schedule and this person has also arrived. I'm running behind. That angst that I had, I would love for not to have that and to just freely sit and talk with the patient. So that's one thing, giving them time. The other complaint that I had a lot was, we are never able to see you, or I wanted to bring my wife to you and you don't have an appointment for 2 months or 3 months, or when I'm sick, I can't see you. I had to see someone else and they gave me this. It would not be a simple flu, or they would have had kidney stones or diagnosed with a new malignancy or something like that. And I wouldn't even know. They would have seen someone else, and then I would see them in follow-up. And I'm thinking, they're here for the diabetes follow-up. I walk in, I was here last month and I got diagnosed with this. And then the whole conversation takes another half an hour, 45 minutes. So the access, the seeing the patient. When I was getting messages, I would get 20, 30, 40 messages a day, being resentful because it was just so much. And I would love to be able to respond without having that. I just need to answer these 10 messages so that it doesn't pile up, not having that angst all the time. That's what I would like. And patients know that they can't reach me. I mean, they have to go through so many phone people, or if they send
Right.
a portal message, they don't know if it's coming to me, if they need a medication refill or, something. So I think that access is great with DPC. Those are the things that draw me to DPC. And I'm hoping that patients can see that value
Yeah.
for themselves.
Yeah. Those are fantastic stories that you can tell. And people really love hearing the stories. So starting out, you can talk about these, whether it's a community talk, that would be fantastic to lead off with, back in private fee-for-service practice. These are things that people would tell me, number one, or these are things that I felt, somebody needed me. I had 2 patients in the other room, but I needed to give time to this patient who really needed me. And, I felt like I had to rush through everyone else because I was so far behind. Those are great stories, and people understand because they've been there. They know they've been the person in the other room waiting for their doctor. So
Right.
these are things that people can relate to. And then you come up with your pain point, and then you say, well, now in DPC, I can spend that time with my patients and give time to them when they need, explanations, or they need some counseling, or, whatever. But the stories are really what will get people listening and understanding. And those are perfect stories. So you can use those experiences when you're creating your social media or your talks or whatever kind of messaging, emails, things like that. They're perfect. Yeah. So
Yeah.
any kinds of things like complaints that you used to hear from your patients, take those and make those into, your messaging.
Yeah,
That's
the
perfect.
talk on camera, the talking to people is something that I'm trying to work on. One-on-one, I'm okay. In the room, I'm, love talking to the patients. No one thinks I'm an introvert. The patients don't think that, but I know that I'm the worst of the introverts.
So the social media, I think you have some ideas, certainly really good stories that you can tell. Getting in front of a camera is hard. People are super surprised about how they sound on camera. They always sound like your voice, it just sounds higher pitched than what you hear in your head. And it's always a little bit shocking. So you get used to it eventually, but the best way to get more comfortable, of course, is just to practice. And especially when you are talking to people, new people that you don't know about, telling them about DPC. Do you have a way that you talk to them about it, an elevator pitch?
So I've been trying to get my elevator pitch. I haven't actually, I don't know, I haven't met a lot of people like that. I tell them about it. I tell them it's a membership. I have been telling my patients, like when I was leaving, I told every patient, like, what are you going to do? And then I'm like, okay, I'm doing it's called direct primary care. And I would go through like what it means. But I've been thinking about an elevator pitch and it's not flowing just yet. I will have to keep practicing it. It's not flowing just yet.
You want to work on it?
I can try. So this is what I came up with. I'm Dr. Raja. I run a membership-based primary care practice here in Flower Mound. The patient a flat monthly fee, and in return, they get same or next day appointments, and they can email or text me whenever they need to. There's no rushed appointments. There's no limit of the number of appointments that they can make. There's no crowded waiting rooms. There's no list of things that you have to discuss that day or, that you can't ask. And I also do, other than primary care, I also do women's health and weight management. So you just get to see a doctor who knows you every single time. You don't have to go see a different mid-level or a doctor when you're sick or, every other visit, you're not seeing someone new. So this is, again, like I'm rambling a bit, but it was much more concise when I wrote it. Like when I say it, it comes out like a little bit extended with a lot of ums and ahs.
You're fine. You're still working on it. But what happens is we are so excited because you come out of fee for service and everything is so complicated and there's so many layers. And when you get out and you're like, oh, DPC is so simple and it's just easy and you get to do this and this and this. For us, it's wonderful. We're like longer times, cheaper labs, all those things. But those are all features of DPC and those are all important. But when you meet somebody new, you want to get their attention. I describe it as kind of word vomit about DPC is it's like, oh, so great. And you just want to tell everything about it. It just kind of tumbles out. So you want to start with something really short, short and sweet, very relatable, something that people can understand quickly. And you just want to get their attention. So they call it a hook, right? So like fishing, you want a hook. For example, at a networking event or you're meeting somebody new, you're just starting to tell them about your practice, pick one of those pain points that you were just talking about. So access, time, right? The layers between you and the patient and the doctor. Pick, say, time, because that was the first thing that you came up with. You felt rushed or you were spending time with someone else. There's two people waiting. It's a story building concept. Do you know when? Or you know when? And then insert your pain point. Well, at my practice, blank, right? I have 30 to 60-minute appointments, or I can see my patient same day, next day. So if someone says, well, what do you do? I have a membership practice. So, when you go to your doctor and you're waiting 45 minutes and it takes forever for them to get to you and then you see them only for 7 minutes, well, at my practice, you get 30 to 60 minutes. You can come in same day, next day when you need me. Okay. And people are like, oh, what is that? Because I went to my doctor last week and I had to wait an hour and I couldn't get an appointment with her for 2 weeks. So picking the pain point, so start with the pain point and then what's your solution? Because they want to know what's in it for me. Because yes, all those things are great. So all the features are what you give them after. You kind of hook them with a little bit of something. And then once your conversation starts flowing, because it's going to flow after that, because if they are interested, it's easy to talk to them about it. And that's where you talk about all the other things that you do. That first little bit, you want to let them talk more than you, just like when you're interviewing a patient, right? Same thing. You want them to talk more than you do. So you just give them a little bit of information, a little crumb, and then it just flows better from there, Okay. But that's just, you want to have something short, relatable. So that's one way. Another way is to have some sort of analogy. So DPC is kind of like a gym membership. You can go and see your doctor when you need them. If you don't go in for a couple of months, you're still paying your monthly fee, just like a gym, but you know that your doctor's there for you when you need them. So most people know what a gym membership is and they understand that concept. So best figure out your pain points, what your solution is, put the two together, and then practice it with your friends, family, in front of a mirror, record yourself. And the more that you do it, the easier it gets. It is kind of a performance in a way.
Yeah, pain point and solution.
And you can vary it. You can do different pain points. You know how your deductible is so high and you never meet your deductible. You know how you call your doctor's office, they don't call you back for 2 days. There's so many things. There's so many problems, right?
Right.
So you can create multiple versions of your story. And you already gave 3 things initially. So yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah.
And people, they know. There's so many people who are so fed up with the system. They know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I also think with both obesity medicine and menopause care, let me just give you this medicine and I'll see you again in 3 months does not work. Right. I mean, there's food logs and there's habits and cultural influences. And so I feel like the hand holding and okay, is this medicine working for you? The experimentation with the different things, not only medication, okay, this dietary change, how is it agreeing? So that hand holding and time is just not possible in traditional insurance-based practice.
So that's another pain point. So people who want to lose weight, but they want to lose it the right way, right? Not necessarily just throw medicine at it and see you back in 3 months. If you want to lose weight a healthy way, some of these clinics that do the GLP-1s and they don't really provide you with the nutrition counseling, all these other things. Well, at my clinic, we do these things. Or for someone who's perimenopausal. So how your doctor doesn't want to talk to you about hormones. We can spend 30 to 60 minutes talking about it and come up with a plan that works for you because this is real. It's not just in your head.
Yeah.
You have all kinds of things you can talk about.
Yes, it's just the talking about it.
I know. You just got to practice. It'll get there. So what kinds of other sources for patients have you thought about, like referral sources or networking, things like that?
The best thing has been, and my old patients, I have an email list. I mean, I just gave out my website and had a form on it and said, just put your information on it if you're interested. And so a lot of my old patients have, I mean, not a lot, but quite a few have actually put their information on there. And it has been really gratifying to see, like, when I was leaving, even if they were not able to follow me or it was too far for them, they were like, you will do great. You've been great here. So when they have that confidence, it's like, it boosts mine. So
Absolutely,
I mean, I hope some of them will follow me. Where I live is where I have my clinic now, but I was practicing about 30 minutes away, and I do have a non-compete there. I
Are you
don't know.
outside the?
I am outside
Are
the
you outside your
non-compete.
non-compete? Yeah.
I am outside the
Okay.
non-compete, but I don't know many of the doctors in the area. I know a few just by name, but
Mhm.
they don't know me in person. So I have to start talking to the doctors here. I've also tried to make connections with like pelvic therapists, pelvic PT, and nutritionists and mental health professionals in the area, counselors, and because I think that's a big portion of what the support that I will need. I did
Yes.
put out a feeler like in one of the mom groups once I had my name and things, but I haven't actually followed through because I don't have the website and the brochures and things like that. So once I have more information that I can give them, then I will start reaching out again. So over the summer, that's the plan.
Yep.
It is hard for me in the sense that I'm like, oh, I'm so behind. I'm not doing all these things. I need to do it. Like there's always a to-do list going on in my head,
Yeah.
and that separation of the timeline might not exactly be like what it was at work before is a little hard for me. The calendaring is a little hard for me because I've always had your 8 to 5. It's just like you can't think about anything else. But now it's a little open and I do a podcast in the morning. What else am I doing? Like if I don't feel like I'm working on something all the time, then I feel like I'm slacking.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to need some of that white space or open time to think about your business. And it's one of those things that's hard to get out of your head and get out of because 8 to 5, you're seeing patients. If you're not seeing a patient, you're not making any money, right? You need to have white space. You need to have time when you are not seeing patients so that you can think, as they say, you can work on your business, not just in your business because no one else is going to work on it for you. Yeah, so that white space is important. But yeah, so good. You have all kinds of referral sources potentially. So what are you going to do to cultivate and nurture those relationships?
Right now I'm focusing just on getting the website together. And then once I have a logo, I don't even have a logo. So once I have that, then I'm going to print some materials. And I'm also thinking about ways of how I can support them.
Yes.
It's not just asking for referrals, but like how can I support them? And maybe if they need help with a talk or something,
Right.
I'm thinking about that. I was also thinking, I don't know if the local library would allow me to just have a room of like just a free something talking about perimenopause, menopause, I was
Yeah, they
thinking about
probably
that
would.
if they would.
Lots of doctors do that. They go to the public library, they go to local gyms if they're a member of the gym, or even if they're not a member, especially if your ideal patient would be there, those kinds of gyms. And then your pelvic PTs, for example, maybe having a shared lunch and learn or something like that. You can do a talk for their patients, because that would be perfect, right?
Yes.
That's a great match.
Yeah.
So your website, are you creating it or who's doing that?
I have a designer. She was quite busy and she gave me the June slot. And I was like, that's okay because I'm working until May and I have to figure out the urgent care and other things. So I have things to do beforehand. And so I was fine with it. And she has given me a lot of homework that I'm working on, like trying to get the brand going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm working
Well,
on.
you have your Facebook page, right?
I do have a Facebook page, yes.
And your basic information is there, correct?
Yes. I have a landing page and like a form on there.
Perfect.
And that's linked on all my Facebook and my Instagram pages.
Oh, perfect. On your landing page, is there kind of just a brief explanation of DPC?
Yes.
Yeah, send them there. And then when you get your full website, well, you can send them there, but okay, just get the word out.
Yeah.
Get those emails.
Yeah, I haven't met them in person. I've just Facebook messaged them, and I think For the most part, I have sent them my website and say, this is if you have anyone who's looking for this, but I don't want to be just all sales. And so I think for them to actually meet me in person at some point will help it go forward. June is going to be my time for that. Which June is almost here, but yeah.
Yeah. So probably should start setting up your meetings now, scheduling them now so that, you know, you can go ahead and start talking to them as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
I was also thinking about just cold calling, like just walking to all the gyms and physical therapy places and all that and just dropping by.
Yep. That'll work too. If you're going to do cold calling, definitely get the information of whoever you talk to, or if the owner isn't there, get their information so that you can contact them later or send them an email, set up a meeting later, because odds are when you go to these places, the owner might not be there, the person who you really want to talk to potentially, if you're thinking about, you know, talking to employers, for example. Great ideas.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It is a bit nerve-wracking doing everything and not knowing anything about business and trying to figure it out. But I also know because of the time that I took to get here, that it's time to just go ahead and figure it out one at a time.
And that's the thing is no one knows all the things when they get out of fee-for-service medicine into DPC. You learn it as you go. You know, just kind of start scared, start not ready, and just keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah.
That's how you do it. You're going to do great. So how are you setting up your opening date?
I'm going at the end of June and I'll be back mid-July. I'm just leasing a room from one of the local gastroenterologists. It's like 8 minutes from home. And depending on how I grow, then we'll make decisions about, you know, is that space enough? Does it work for them? We're starting very small and they're also trying me out and I'm trying them out kind of. So I'm going to wait and see, and then I'll decide about my own space. So I don't have a date yet. It's because it's going to be another person's clinic. I think I'm not going to have like an opening or anything.
Sure.
But when I have, you know, all things going, you know, God willing, in about hopefully within a year or so, I will have my own space and I will make a big deal about it.
Then you have a big party.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, the people that have signed up on your email list, are you contacting them intermittently maybe? Yep.
Yes, I send them all a thank you for putting your email on here and like what it means to me. And, you know, because I like starting with, like, I'm very, very grateful for my patients and their care. So I do that. And then I haven't started newsletters. That's another thing that I would, but I am sometimes doing like a little summer tip or something or the other, like this, it's coming along. I have a space now, or this is the name, or little things like that.
Perfect.
Not very often. And it does take me like figuring out mailing lists and like all of that takes a long time for me. So I am trying to figure it out, but I do send the welcome emails right away. And then I have a Google Voice number now, so that to claim my business profile, that took like actually doing that.
It does take a while.
So I also do immigration physicals. I want to wait until I have the space to do them. I'm talking to the LabCorp rep and the CPL rep, and I'm doing things here and there, but you know, it's just not a list and like checking off like I'm so used to. Now it's like, oh, I have this person, and then I have to talk to them 2 days later. And I wanted to say thank you for your podcast, because there was one doctor, I don't remember who talked about a small business development center near them and that someone had helped them. So when I heard that, I was like, let me go ahead and search for this. And then I found this person like just right down the street. And I have had one session with him, just a WebEx meeting. And he actually followed up, and I haven't. He gave me so many resources that I haven't had time to look through yet.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
So,
yeah.
you know, he is following up. And so it's like all free business advising. And I would like for other people who are in this process to look for that near them.
Right, right. So small business development centers, usually in community colleges, and you just Google small business development center near you. I know there's one like 5 minutes from my house, small community college, and then also SCORE, SCORE.
Okay.
A lot of times they're affiliated with the development centers, but SCORE is, I can't remember what it stands for, but basically it's people who are retired business executives, retired business people, And a lot of it is free. They have a lot of webinars and a lot of free information. Some of them are paid, but when I say paid, I mean it's like $10 for a webinar. So they're really reasonable. And so they have SCORE offices all over. A couple weeks ago, I watched a SCORE webinar that was from the one in Orlando. They have one in Asheville near me. They've got them all over. And once you get on their list, you're going to get a ton of emails. But they're all really good. SCO.
Okay, I will look into that.
That's another good resource. But yeah, the small business development centers, those are fantastic. So anyone who's listening that hasn't done that, it's highly recommended. Yeah.
I mean, for whatever type of business, I mean, I had no idea it was completely free and big guy. I mean, I could open a laundromat and he would guide me through everything. I mean, I just didn't know that. So
yeah, laundromats are not bad businesses either.
No, I've heard they're really good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking your time and sharing your thoughts and your process. And, you know, it's very beneficial for other doctors who are getting started, and you're not behind. It's just one step at a time. And that's the whole reason for the podcast, just to help other people get them started. It just takes time and following up, really. That's a big thing.
Yeah, it has been very helpful too. I'm not the only one with imposter syndrome. I'm not the only one who doesn't know tech. I'm not the only one that I'm starting with this. Like, there are people like me who have done it before and they have been successful. That has been very empowering and just lets me, like, especially when you get into the lows, which happen, right? And at that time, like, okay, this person figured it out. And if it's a challenge, then that's a good thing. And, like, you know, for the mindset, I think the podcasts and the books, and they're just so helpful.
Yeah, and the ups and downs, no matter how far you are into your business, there's always going to be those ups and downs, and just got to keep going. Well, I would love to talk with you again just to see how things are going. That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
And,
that's my
you know, you'll be
manifestation.
open.
I'm like, I want to be the person that said it's going well, and like, this is what happened, to share in like 6 months, a year, that, you know, I want to do that.
Yeah,
Putting it out there.
If anyone wants to find you, how should they go about looking for you?
So I'm Maheswari Raja MD on Facebook, and I am maheswari.raja.md on Instagram, and mrajamd.com is my website. So that's where they can find me. And the name of my practice is Anchor Primary Care. The domain is going to be anchordirectcare.com, which is still not ready yet.
Okay. Well, it'll be ready soon.
Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you. And I look forward to talking with you again in about 6 months. We'll see where you are then.
Yes. Thank you so much.
One more thing. I've got something new for DPC docs about to launch. I consider it the Early Practice Plan version 2. The difference is you get weekly guidance from me based on your real numbers. I'm opening it up this week for the summit. The link is in the show notes, or come find me if you will be in New Orleans.
Thank you for listening to DPC Life. If today's conversation inspired you, hit follow, leave a review, and share it with a friend who's ready for change. Remember, wherever you are in the journey, your DPC family has your back. Until next time, keep building a practice and a life that truly fits you.